Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to your Facebook page and look us up, or hit see first to see and hear all the great programs we have here on WNHHLP. And just a reminder, Cannabis Corner is also streaming live on the Greenhaven Media Facebook and YouTube page, and also ProCannabisMedia.com. You should check out some of the new videos I put up this weekend. Got a lot of great stuff on the YouTube page. A lot of things going on. All right. It is Monday, September the 30th. My God, the month is over. I am your host, Joe LaChance. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. And of course, I am joined here by the illustrious one and only Uncle Lou, Farmer Lou. How are you today?
I'm doing quite well today, guys. I really appreciate you all. Just kind of doing what we do. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, man. How's your weekend? Monday. Happy Monday. How's your weekend? You're muted.
I got to see goats and llamas this weekend, which was very exciting. So I don't know if anyone in Connecticut went to the Durham Fair. I was feeling some kind of way yesterday, I'll be honest. And I went, and then I found this llama who loved me. And it was like licking my fingers. And then the lady was like, oh, be careful, that one bites. But it did not bite me. So I got loved on by a biting llama. So that was exciting.
So how was the Durham Fair without the cannabis in it?
It was interesting. I mean, whatever. Like, I show up. I live in Middletown, so it's literally like 5 seconds away from my house. So you pay a lot for parking and to get in, and then you just stomp around for fair food. I did see our friend Gabe Zamorano, who owns Metatron Home Grow. He had a booth up there. So despite the fact that cannabis was not represented in a way where we had the any sort of display like within the agricultural center, Gabe was down there doing some demos on home grow and showing off what he's got. So that was cool.
Good.
So, yeah, I mean, it was what it was. We love our Biggie and Durham Fair type things. There was no cannabis representation, and I hope he doesn't smack my hand for saying this, but I know for sure that he got a little smack on the hand, I think, for over advocating for cannabis. So things had to be referred to as broccoli and tomatoes. But we still had a home grow expert out there, which was great. So,
well, at least it was represented in some sort of way,
100%. And, regardless of whether Gabe gets mad at me for sharing that, it is what happened. They pulled that, they sent out emails about it. So we talk about this a lot. Breaking the stigma is a big deal. We kind of exist in an echo chamber where everyone is cool with cannabis. And then you go like outside of that echo chamber, and even the people that are comfortable with it are not comfortable with it. And they're like, don't say this word, don't do that, don't have your banner up. So it's really important for us to just show up and show people that we're parents, we're families, we're engaged in our community. We, what I mean? We pay taxes. Like, we are part of the community at large. And this is not some clandestine, secretive activity that we're doing. So big props to people that try to bring it out into the mainstream, for lack of a better word. It's hard. It's harder than people realize.
Well, yeah, anytime you try to push the envelope, they try to keep it shut.
100%.
And yeah, no, that's the thing, but that's what it's about. The fact that Gabe even put it in and tried to get it done at the Durham Fair is a big deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For that,
and you need to have guts to do that, but that's what it's going to take. Things like the billboards that we did, you know what I mean? Just pushing the envelope to where people, even this show in a way,
100%,
when it first came on, really pushed the envelope. Nobody had a cannabis show on public radio before.
Right.
So, but I think you just got to keep trying. And I think the thing is to get cannabis exposed in areas where it would not normally have any exposure. So
Exactly right. Exactly right. And from what I heard from him, the demonstration on home grow, despite the fact that it had to be presented in a way that it was more universally acceptable, was very well received. So that was great to hear, because I think folks understand a plant is a plant. So
yep. So what's going on in the area for this month?
all
We're
right,
coming
forgive
up on
me.
a new month of October.
I can't see my computer screen because I'm wearing these glasses from like 1997. So hold on, I'll put them back on, Joe.
Well, you look what I'm wearing, dollar store readers.
Oh, these are bad though. All right. You hopefully have some things to add. I've got a couple. So I did mention them last week. Salt and Oil Yoga. They do cannabis friendly yoga experiences. So they've got a couple coming up in the month of October. There is one on the 11th and one on the 13th. So if you go to saltandoilyoga.com, you will see all of the places that they're bopping around to do these cannabis and yoga. And they don't only do cannabis and yoga, it's just part of what they add in, which I think is great. So
Well, they
October
do have
11th and October
something.
13th.
They also have something on this Friday, which is brand new. It's called the Canna and Company
Yes.
Social Club. Now, that is being sponsored by Jill McCaffrey. And that's
Yes.
going to be in Milford at the Domes. The address is there. You can find out more about it by going to Salt and Oil. But I signed up. It's only $4.20 to go. Apparently, they're going to be doing this every other week in Milford. So I have not, and actually coming from Milford, I should know this venue, but I really don't. So it's going to be something new for me as well. But that's this Friday night, goes from 7 to 9. It's called the Canna and Company Social Club. So that's
Yeah, no, and I think that's great. I don't know if it was via email or DM, but I love what they're pulling together. And it's just, again, trying to create a community of like-minded people that are engaged in similar things. You do not have to consume cannabis to be a part of it, but it's very much cannabis friendly. And I just really love that, because we see tons of things like sipping paint, sipping this, sipping that. Like alcohol is very integrated into everything that we do. And so I really love the
right.
people that integrate cannabis into everything that we do. Participate if you want, don't if you don't want to, that's fine.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's called the Red Root Domes on Red Root Lane in Milford. So that's
Yep.
7 to 9. All right. Also, have you seen this new thing, the Seasoned Smokers Club? This is
I have
new. They are going to be doing a get together every Wednesday up in East Hartford. It's for over 40 weed smokers.
Okay. Sadly, I fit into that, but okay.
They had their first one this last Wednesday. I didn't go, but Aaron Doolittle spoke there. Yeah, it's an exclusive weekly gathering for adults age 40 plus who share an appreciation for cannabis and offer relaxed, welcoming atmosphere so we can socialize. So that's every Wednesday night, and that's on Church Street, 87 Church Street in East Hartford. So you can find out about that. 86 Grow, I know, is involved in that. That's a grow store up there in Hartford. So those are two new networking events coming up. And that's a good thing. I think that's the way things are going to go, with this.
Yeah, totally. And and this is not something I can promote. I don't know anything about the individual launching it or anything like that, but I will say, a lot of us are engaged in those local Facebook groups, like what's happening in Middletown or what's happening in New Haven. So it was
Right.
not even remotely a cannabis related group, but I was in my Middletown one, and an individual was trying to find some folks that were interested in crocheting and knitting, and they wanted to do like I think this word is okay, a stitch and bitch with cannabis as opposed to alcohol. And there was a lot of folks that I knew from around town that were responding to it. And part of me was like, yes, because some people don't feel comfortable really engaging in the super heavy cannabis centric events for various reasons. There's still that stigma attached, but when it's something kind of light and, let's get together and crochet, or let's like get together and create a blanket. I think it's just really important to bring people from all aspects of our community, because I think we, particularly people on this show, we're very comfortable talking about it out loud. Not everyone is. So I just thought that was really cool to see it in like a, just a generic Facebook group of someone trying to get those folks together. I was like, absolutely, dude, right on.
That's cool. Oh, also, Camore's got Thinking and Doing Day this Saturday. That's at Sterling Street in Hartford. Thinking and Doing Day. That's a great day to get together. They work on the grounds out there, and then they also brainstorm and plan how they can, serve the community better and also make change in the community. So that's Saturday at 1. Yeah, it's her birthday on October 9th. So she's having a little get together over there also, over at the Labyrinth. So that'll be on October 9th. She's doing a get together there too as well. So
no, I love that. I always say I'm tough to impress sometimes. I think I'm a little bit tough like that. Kimora absolutely impresses me. Like, she's involved in so many important things, and she really just throws herself into it. Like, if she latches onto something, she is all about it. She was doing something with environmental awareness, and I remember getting a message from her saying, like, we really need the cannabis community involved. It was talking about disposal of rubbish and things that you wouldn't think involved cannabis, but it really did, because of hemp being.
Yeah. No. Oh, what happened? I lost you, Kristen. All right. Oh, I guess I'm here by myself.
No,
but
you're
anyway,
here with me too, brother.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I'm sitting here watching, listening. You guys had a great turnout and what the weekend was. I'm really excited about everything that's going on. Joe, I know she's having a little technological.
Yeah, I can't hear her anymore. I'm
You
gonna
know,
let her
it
know
kind of
that.
happens. It happens,
She
we're
may
all
not
here.
even know.
You know what? We're still live and on the radio. That's what happens with the show,
That's right.
baby. What do
So
they
we were
say? The show
talking
must
about
roll on.
Kimora.
Yep, you were talking about Kimora. Come on.
All right. So yeah, she's got a lot of great things going on over there. But also we got a couple other events coming up this month. I know over at Better Ways,
Yep.
they have a with C Creations. They have something coming up on October 17th.
They have a puff and paint coming up.
Yeah,
Our
puff
good
and
friend
paint with a
Sarah,
costume party.
let's give her flowers where they're due as well. She's over there, chopping it up and making it better at Better Ways and doing the whole thing with Duncan. But where I met them originally was during a PhD internship over at Rebecca farm over in Killingsworth, growing hemp
Oh, really?
at Running Brook Farm, our friend over there.
Oh, very, very cool.
Yeah, so
So that's
remember,
where you met Sarah.
that's where we met Sarah, and that way continues to show that not only is she an artist, but a very skilled intellectual person with a higher education and higher degree work that has chosen to be in this field and has put in a lot of work while still maintaining her own authenticity.
Right, right, right. No, exactly. And
So,
also, I did want to
I'm
mention
just
that
sitting here rolling a joint.
Burn and Learn has
should.
a bowling bacon bowl, and that starts tonight, actually.
Bowling has started back up.
Yes, at Bolero in Milford. If you want to sign up, check out Burn and Learn. It's a bowling night. I did attend a couple of them last year. They were a hell of a lot of fun. And those things are always great to go to.
And bowling is great, arting is great, crafts, and what else the season calls for? We're into convention season, Joe. As we've been in heavy convention season, I'm rolling a joint as I'm a judge for the Harvest Cup this year again.
Oh, you got into the Harvest Cup? I think that's what, November 9th?
November 9th is coming up, and I am twisting up a joint right now. I'm one of the flower judges. I've been a judge for the last 5 years with them, and always enjoy everything that they do over there, Jen and Jeremy. So this one's for them, right?
All right, very good. So yeah, that's coming up in November. That's always a good one up there in Worcester at the DCU Center. And of course, we'll hopefully have them on the show, maybe just for a quickie,
We definitely
just to
will.
promote the event. But I know we always go, and I'm sure I will be up there this year.
That's one that I don't miss, Joe. That is definitely one I do not miss. I always enjoy it, just watching it from the culmination to where it is now, and that's one of the really amazing things watching over the last 10 years of this industry. You would agree, right, Joe? We've
Yeah,
gotten to
we were at the
see,
first one.
uh-huh.
Yeah, we
We've
were at
gotten
the
to
first.
see
The
some
school
great
was there. We had a booth. It was nice.
we've gotten to see so much of this industry up here go from infancy to maturity.
We were at the first Harvest Cup, the first Neat Can.
We've watched this industry grow, Joe. We've been part of
Yes,
it for a very
sir.
long time.
Yes, sir. Making us feel old.
Hey, I'm all for it. Maturity, as watching a market
Yeah, you're a
matures
couple
is
of
a
old
very
men.
watching a
Chris,
market mature is absolutely amazing. And then I will, as we get ready to go into, we're also hosting another job fair with our partner, Next Level Empowerment, and Kebra and Lit New Haven will also be there October 22nd at Career High School in their cafeteria.
oh, then I'm sure we will be there. We'll cover the event
Amazing.
with the camera. We'll get it down there, get some nice footage, and we'll put that up on YouTube. That'll be awesome. October 22nd, Career High School. I will put that in the calendar. Greenhaven Media, the whole crew will be there.
Yep.
All right. I love it. Kristen, do you have any other events?
I do not. I guess I'll just keep dropping it weekly. The Connecticut Cannabis Small Business Alliance will be having its fundraiser at Illicit Brewery on Sunday, November 3rd. So save that date. Make sure you're available. We believe it's going to kick off for 4:30 and go into the evening. It's going to be a live and silent auction, raffles, entertainment, food. Tickets should go on sale next week. So yeah, keep that
Cool.
on your radar. It'll be a
Let's
blast.
do some karaoke there. I think
I
that'd be
don't think
fun.
anyone wants to hear me
I
sing,
do.
Joe.
Well,
No,
they
you
want to hear me
don't.
sing. They want to hear me sing.
Although I
Anyway,
think you might have been subjected to it in the car on the way back from Boston. I was like, listen, I'm gonna sing.
it's all good. But anyway, all right, we'll figure that out when that time comes. Our
Right on.
guest is here. We're very lucky we have with us today Uzma Zakir. And Uzma is a pioneering pharmacist who witnessed the opioid crisis firsthand, driving her passion for natural healing with plant medicines. As a dispensary pharmacist and cannabis educator in Connecticut, Uzma has significantly influenced the state's industry. A cum laude pharmacy graduate, she now integrates internal medicine with cannabinoid therapeutics at her practice, Bloom Higher. The company curates innovative plant-based products and provides education to help clients achieve profound wellness through the healing potential of nature's remedies. Uzma, how are you today? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Joe. I'm well. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Lou. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
So, tell us a little bit about Bloom Higher, what you got going on over there. You're a full service wellness office, and you
Yeah.
specialize in cannabinoids, but also essential flower essences. You do a lot of different things over there. I've had the pleasure of doing a session with you, and I found them to be very exhilarating, very helpful, and very eye-opening and mind-opening when I go there. So why don't you share a little bit about what you do
Okay.
over there before we get into your big news?
Yeah, it's been a little over a year since I resigned from corporate cannabis and really have been figuring this out along the way. And now I feel like I have a really good rhythm with how I care for my clients and really how I kind of dreamed of caring for people who are unwell. So going from being a pharmacist at the counter, counting pills, to being a dispensary pharmacist and learning everything that I could about what makes cannabis medicine.
Mm.
And then also just having developing really close relationships to the patients. And so these are people who have been sick, some of them for decades, right? Really unrelenting symptoms, treatments aren't helping. And when you meet people that literally tell you this is my last hope, right? You take it very seriously. It's very humbling, it's very honoring. And so learning really the power of what this sacred plant can do physiologically and mentally, right? So we are bringing down the inflammation. You can get people, we've gotten people who've maybe had ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease for years and years, and then get them stick to a regimen and they have a clear colonoscopy, and control over their symptoms. They're able to get back to doing the tasks that they need to get done for life. But then adding the emotional and spiritual component, I would really dive deep with people, because then you wonder, one medicine, one dose is not going to work for everybody. And it's
Right.
not just about the milligrams. Yeah, everybody has a different tolerance, but there's nuances to anxiety. There's nuances to insomnia, right? There's nuances to pain.
I think
so
everybody experiences them differently,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely. And then I think what I do is I provide a safe, comfortable space and then help with verbiage, right? How to really explain what we're feeling, what we're thinking, what our body is doing, what we're scared of, right? Anxiety is so fear-driven. And sometimes it's the fear of the unknown, right? A lot of times we can't go to sleep. Maybe I can get you out of pain, but your mind is still racing in endless negative loops of regret. And that's why I started working with flower essences. So I took a really great flower essences practitioner course at Twin Star School of Herbalism and Energetic Studies. And that was so eye-opening and powerful for me. And again, to learn the verbiage and the language of our soul's journey, right? And our emotional challenges. And then the way flower essences work is that they're an energetic preparation. So there's no plant matter. And different plants have different personalities that can unlock different types of stuck emotions that you may be dealing with, whether it's from when you were a child or if it's something that you're going through right now.
Yeah.
So working together, and you've seen in session, Joe,
Mhm.
right? Like I use the grounding mat. I get you really comfortable. We apply topicals to get you out any physical pain, and all sessions start with a dose. So that's a dose of, mostly people choose the minor cannabinoid with flower essences. And really the point of the cannabinoids for the session is, number one, to bring you to that point of stillness where then you can go from there. But if you're like static everything brain, I like to bring up like Pigpen from the Peanuts,
with all that stuff
all
over
the
your head.
scramble, and that's when I see people who are anxious and we're feeling frantic and we're feeling overwhelmed. So like, let's get that scrambling down. Let's get that out of the way. And now we can have a conversation with the real you. And
Yeah. You mentioned one thing during quite a few times, was that healing is not just a physical thing. How the mind, how the soul, but also how your energy field can contribute to either your health or your lack of it. Right. And I think that's a real key that you really bring into it, is the fact that, yeah, there is the medicinal aspect, but a lot of times illnesses are created in the mind.
Right. And in the energetic fields, right?
Right.
And so I think what's so special about plant medicine is it carries that sacred component to
Mhm.
it, right? And when you ingest that with this intention of maybe opening your third eye, feeling more grounded, being able to expand safely, and then a combination with the flower essences to start to get things moving again. And then I take you on a beautiful healing journey in your consciousness, and try to like push and shove and take things out that shouldn't be there anymore. And get you connected to love, light, right? Nourishment, grounding.
Right. Our true
And
essence.
so, our true essences. And so that's where I've taken wellness and health. And then, really putting people on cannabis dosing regimens is so effective and it's so profound, but there's always a little bit more work to do, right? So rather than just looking at yourself as your mind and your body, we bring into the whole picture your heart, your soul, and your spirit with exercises and practices to safely explore your soul, your heart, and your spirit, and then really find a comfort there and some trust, so you can let go some of your panic and your burdens to some place where you've developed a trust and loving relationship
with yourself, right?
with inside yourself.
With
Exactly.
inside
That's the
yourself.
key.
But a lot of
Yeah, I
people
think
don't realize that's where it all begins, you know. You have outer conflicts a lot of times because you have inner conflicts. You have an inner disease because you have inner conflicts, you know.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
and I
that
have
go ahead, Kristen, sorry.
speak. I'll pop in when good. You go, girl.
No, I can't remember what I was gonna say. You go.
All right, then this is an accolade. I was going to say we did a panel recently, about a year ago, where I was the moderator and you were a speaker on the panel. And I remember very distinctly you speaking about these topics. And someone in the audience stood up and they came forward and just said how instrumental you had been in helping them not only find the right regimen, but helping them find themselves. And every once in a while, I go back to that clip because it was just, it wasn't some canned thing. We, as far as I know, we didn't like have a plant in the audience, you know what I mean? So just it's so clear how what you're doing impacts other individuals, and just even more so, you know, you had spoken in that panel and in real life, we've known each other for a minute, about the dosing and the importance of the dosing. So a personal issue, which I just felt really weird about over the last like 9 months or so, I felt like consuming cannabis was giving me panic attacks.
Mhm.
And it was starting to make me feel ridiculous. Like some of my friends were like, "Oh, you're a lightweight," you know? And I'm like, "I've been smoking since far before I should have been. I'm not a lightweight. I'm not new to this." But to your point, it was a lot of inner things. I needed to get in touch with myself. I needed to be more comfortable with where I was at, and that whole like not being able to sleep and your mind racing. That's not fun or funny. That's real. And so, to your point, you were talking about integrating lesser known cannabinoids, maybe CBG, CBN, into the higher THC products. And so, I started doing what you had been recommending, despite us not having sat down. It was so helpful. So helpful. Like, I'm not even exaggerating and saying there were so many times I'm like, I'm going to take myself to the emergency room. I feel like I'm having a panic attack. And really, all I needed to do was lessen my dosage a little bit,
Yeah.
be more cognizant of meditation, just being in tune with myself, doing a little bit more self work, and introducing minor cannabinoids. And so it was quite literally what
Yeah.
you prophesize about, if that's the right word. So
Yes.
it's so valuable. It really is, because I was personally starting to feel like I was insane. And it's listening to people like you that are, you're not insane. This is just not working for you at this moment. And you need to tweak what you're doing and it will help you again. And it did. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy,
thank you.
Kristen. And I want to piggyback off of that and talk about THC a little bit, because with the potency of the THC products that are now available, I've been seeing, and it's been a couple of years now, so much rebound anxiety and rebound insomnia. So we've gone straight far away from the plant's original nature, right? And so I don't think necessarily each time you dose, you need to have all the cannabinoids, but you can use the minor cannabinoids maybe during the day if that suits your lifestyle, and then switch to THC in evenings and nighttime. And really get that full balance in a 24-hour period, because oftentimes what people were doing was waiting till they got out of work or waiting till the end of the day to medicate. But the whole day they were in pain, the whole day they were anxious and they were worried. So what is that doing to your stress response in your body, right? You're in chronic stress, you're in chronic pain with no relief to the end of the day. And yeah, you feel great, you feel like you're going to the moon, you fall asleep, but we can do better.
Right.
And I think something, and a testament to this is like, especially when I was working at the dispensary and working with people who had been using THC for decades and not willing to try CBD, having enough conversation, getting them on CBD, maybe like, every day for 10 days, let's try a 10-day regimen. And for them to come back, and exactly just like you said, Kristen, is that I feel better than I thought that I ever could. I think is really what we're trying to get at. And that's the magic of cannabis, which is why I love working with this plant, is because you have an idea of what wellness is, but we can take it all the way up here. And especially when we introduce your whole person. So not relying so much on THC, and again, the minor cannabinoids, and introducing that it's so powerful for the individual.
You bring up a good point there, Uzma. The way that cannabis is bred now, being so THC concentrated, we've lost, I think, and this just came to me while you're talking, a lot of the medicinal benefits that, let's say, the landrace, the original strains had all a full spectrum, even though they were, they had seeds, they had the whole full spectrum. Now the cannabis we see is so heavy THC, and they're purposefully cutting out, breeding it to have less CBD, to have less minor cannabinoids, that we almost have to now, if we want to really get the true medicinal benefits, supplement our cannabis with minor cannabinoids to make up for what they bred out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be a little nerdy for a few moments, different cannabinoids react with different receptors in your body. So to really get that full kind of, I guess I would say, supplementation of your endocannabinoid system and beyond, you want to use multiple cannabinoids. And then you learn how each of them make you feel, right? And that's where, again, the language is so important. And so many people would come and say, oh, I tried CBD, it didn't do anything. And so the way I counter that is pay attention to what you don't feel, not what you do feel. CBD is not like THC. You're going to feel a whole lot of euphoria. CBD takes things away. So, are you more in the moment without being disoriented? Are your thoughts a little bit lighter? Are your shoulders out of your ears? Were you able to get more done than you
Did your
usually
headache go
do?
away?
Yeah. So, first session with a client, I take very detailed notes, because what's so special about cannabis is that it makes you forget, right? It's very powerful in our memory and learning processing centers, but people forget how sick they were, and it could be like 10 days. And then I remind them, I had a follow-up at the end of last week with a client, a gentleman in his late 60s, really, really bad nerve pain. So he was not sleeping at all. It got to the point where he couldn't function during the day. Lots of different meds and procedures from the doctor's office. And we were like, let's just try this. He had no interest in using THC or being like disoriented. And a lot of my clients are like that, and a lot of people are, which is also one of the reasons why I started focusing so much on the minor cannabinoids. There's actually another reason too, but I'll get to that later if you remind me.
Okay.
So we did a nice topical for his feet. We did a nice dose of CBN at night. CBN is a great neuroprotective compound, and it's also great for just slowing and shutting everything down. So rather than getting high and falling asleep, you just get tired and you fall asleep, and a nice dose of CBD for him during the day for the inflammation. So the goal here with the cannabinoids is not just what you feel immediately. You want to feel good immediately, but what we know from how healing cannabis is, there's kind of a long-term gain here, of reducing inflammation, protecting the integrity of your nerve cells, and then taking it from there and being consistent. So he's doing great. He hasn't taken any Lyrica. He hasn't taken any Motrin since his first day starting. He's like, I go to sleep at night and my eyes don't open till the morning when I have to. And he's lost weight. So, and this is without THC. So there's so many ways to heal. It's just, I just like opening people's minds about it.
Right. No, and you certainly have. And I got to think, as you having experience not only as a traditional pharmacist, right? So you've seen, as we said in your bio, with the opioid crisis, you saw how that devastated the people that were coming into the regular pharmacy. Then you have experience as a pharmacist in the Connecticut medical marijuana industry, and you saw people coming there trying to get off the opioids that had been prescribed by the pharmacist before. So you've seen it from both sides, and yet you still decided to go off and start your own thing because you saw the flaws in both. I'd have to say, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. And and that's the tricky thing with cannabis, right? It's an industry and it needs to generate money, but it's also such powerful ancient medicine that again can heal you spiritually, mentally, and physically, to the point where imaging results prove it. Little as 6 weeks, people have better imaging results, better quality of life, their relationships improve. So my choice is to focus on that. That's where my heart is, and not necessarily in the other part.
Right. And I think, yeah, unfortunately, the Connecticut or almost any medical marijuana program doesn't have that individual care that we've been speaking of. So, yeah, you can go in and get cannabis, but to sit down with somebody like you who will actually say, okay, yeah, but how about a complete cannabinoid regimen? So let's do some things that you can't get in the dispensary, and let's look at maybe a lower, like you said, a lower THC with a little more minor cannabinoids. That's the kind of stuff you don't get in the medical marijuana dispensary when you go in there. And I think that's what's really important about what you do, is that individual care. So literally, this person is getting an individual treatment plan, not only with dosing of cannabinoids, but also the medicines to go along with it, but a mental health plan as well. And you're not going to get that in the medical marijuana dispensary. I don't care which one you go to.
Yeah. And the mental health plan, yeah, it's about gratitude, intention, I
Yeah,
think
not
individualized flower
psychotherapy. No.
essences. Yeah, it's a
Right.
whole different type of like connecting yourself to the universe, escaping, just going into your subconscious mind or your spiritual brain and spending some time there and guiding people on
Yeah.
how to do that. And again, cannabis, whether it's THC or minor cannabinoids, just helps you go a little bit deeper and to keep
Right.
continuing to go deeper. So I will say that at the dispensaries, I feel like there's always more than one side, right? So like my friends who are still pharmacists at the dispensary, they wish they had more consults. They wish they had people making more appointments to talk to them. And on the flip side, patients come and tell me that they're not getting enough guidance from the dispensary. So there's definitely a disconnect there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as more dispensaries open, people can be more discerning, right? So it's not about this one is near me, it's the only one I can go to. And maybe they won't only be looking for prices, but it's going to be about the community feeling and that guidance and actually feeling well from the recommendations, and not just
Right.
keep searching and
Right.
spending more money. And that's why I like to have people try something in the office and they know how it makes them feel. And I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time searching, right? So whether it's trying to meditate and not really know where you're supposed to go and what it's supposed to feel like, and even using either whether it's THC or minor cannabinoids, like what is that pain relief going to look like? What is that anxiety relief actually going to feel like?
Oh, yes.
So I like to bring that all together kind of as a guide for each client.
Now, with that, you have a big announcement. You have just launched your own line of cannabinoid products. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that whole thing that you had? You're making the announcement here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Cannabis Corner Radio. So yeah, I have 3 oral solutions that are available right now, and I have a couple of more SKUs coming. And this was, again, really from talking to hundreds, if not thousands of people over the years about what's really going on with them. So I started with really concepts for chronic illness, for PTSD, and for anxiety. And so with chronic illness, what I noticed about people who had been again, sick for multiple years, frustrating with completely frustrated with Western medicine, how they've been treated, how they've been talked down to, spending so much money, so much time of their life, and then not getting better. Right.
I get that.
Yeah. And what I would ask them as part of my consult, I like to ask people, like, what do you really like about yourself? Like, what do you really like about yourself? And too many people would either laugh off the question or say, like, I don't even know how to answer that, and too many people would say nothing anymore. And that just broke my heart.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Broke my heart. So I combined CBD and CBG. I have my product right here, glass half full, with wild rose flower essence. And wild rose flower essence is to bring that vitality back and that sense of self-love back, to really reignite that connection with yourself in a positive way. And I think most of us, just the way from society is and everything that we're consuming, we don't think to search or scan ourselves and see what's going on. So Wild Rose is really about introducing that will to live again. And CBD and CBG are such strong antioxidants. They're great for mood, they're great for irritability, and they're great for pain, and to reduce that inflammation and really get hold of your stress response. So that's my glass half full. And I also made my own cannabis flower essence that's in all of my products. So I made that at the CBG Guru's farm. So if you guys know Sean, I'm sure you guys know Sean.
Sure.
So I'm going to go back this week to make this year's batch. But it's a solarization process. So basically you pick the flower when it's at its height and you put it in a bowl of water and you leave it under the sun. I prayed over the bowl for 3 hours to relieve human suffering, and really was really in a nice zone there. His farm is beautiful. It's really mystical.
Oh, it's a lovely place.
So that essence is in all of my products. So I would say glass half full. I did design it for chronic illness. It's really good for when you're not feeling right and you're feeling meh. So you're not panicky, you're not racing around trying to, thinking and being confused. You're just like, oh, you're so meh. And this is great to bring you up and help you get through the day. Like that's the best way to explain it. So
that's perfect, actually.
Yeah.
So then
And
I have
very
to come pick up a bottle of that.
Anxiety is nuanced, right? Sometimes you're anxious and you're trying to clean your house and you're trying to send emails and you're on the phone, but sometimes you're anxious and you don't want to get out of the covers, right?
Yeah.
So for when you're anxious and feeling very overwhelmed, I developed Shine Baby Shine. So Shine Baby Shine combines CBD with something called L-theanine, which is also completely natural.
Oh, in green tea. That's found in green tea, right? Yeah.
And really, I think that medicine, no matter how much you take, it shouldn't hurt you. So, right, when you go to the doctor and it's like, take one a day, but if you take the whole bottle, you would die. So what are we microdosing our toxins and our poisons? Doesn't make sense. So CBD and L-theanine, you can't take too much of it. And in Shine Baby Shine, I added elm and mimulus flower essences. So elm is when you don't feel like you can measure up to what you have to do. When you're like self-doubt, low self-worth, I got too many things to do, I'm not good enough to do any of them. And when you're feeling overwhelmed with all of those things that you have to do. And then I added mimulus, which is for courage and confidence to make it through the day.
And that's Shine Baby Shine.
So that's Shine Baby Shine, is to really dispel the trauma, the panic, the worry. And once you can dispel all of that, what's there? You, the real you. So you can finally shine, right?
Yeah, nice.
And that's the idea.
Shine your light.
Yeah. And then my third product is called Speak Up. And Speak Up is Speak Up is for PTSD. I think that after traumatic, especially abusive experiences, right? Oftentimes there's a shame and a humiliation that lasts. And I've dealt with mostly women, but some men also, coming in with PTSD after some just awful, like just heartbreaking things. And you see how they try to keep themselves really small. They don't, they can't
Yeah.
even, right?
Yeah.
There's so much shame, that, they don't want to take up space. They don't even want, they're afraid to make eye contact or anything. So they're not listening to themselves or seeing themselves, number one, because it's too painful to go inside. So going out and dealing with the world is a whole nother level of nervousness, right? So Speak Up has CBD and CBN in it. Now, I know we kind of think of CBN as the sleepy cannabinoid, and I certainly used to, but after using it in different ways, I feel like it really works like an adaptogen. And it's great for slowing the mind down, again, without being high, in a nice, really unique way from CBD. So I combined it here to, again, that loud noise that we hear of, you're not good enough, you're doing this wrong, don't even bother. And the pain and the anxiety that's right here. So I designed Speak Up with crab apple, flower essences, and arnica.
Arnica's very good for healing.
So arnica is to really release the shock that gets stuck in the body after traumatic experience. And crab apple is very purifying, cleansing, and restorative, and takes away that idea that something has to be perfect and then stay that way, where really it's about evolving and growing and strengthening. So again, the idea is to get your energy flowing again so you can flow with your life rather than being an obstacle to yourself. Like, so many people have told me, like, I wish I could just leave myself alone. It's my thoughts that are bothering me all day.
Isn't that interesting?
And that's what I work with people to overcome.
That's highly
Right.
These tools. What, Kristen?
Highly relatable on that one. I'm sure that's
that's
great.
Hey, we all have that. People don't understand. I think that we do have that inner conflict of the two minds, the two selves, the self that has been programmed by this material world. And then there's our true self, the one that is, imaginative, creative, fearless, loving, compassionate, all that
eternal.
stuff eternal, like when we were children, right? And that conflict is, I hate to say it, natural because of the world we live in. You know what I mean? The world, this material world, is not necessarily one of love, compassion, all the things that are our essence. It's kind of almost the opposite. So you wonder why people are mentally ill, physically ill. There's a constant conflict going on within them, and it's everybody. So we all have it to different degrees, and I want everybody out there listening to know you're not alone.
Not at all.
No, I love the consideration and the care that you put into explaining what each product was directed towards and how it was going to be impactful for various concerns, conditions, however you want to phrase it, because it's, like I was saying, kind of interjecting, that's very relatable. And I guarantee there's so many other folks that listened to, some of those stories and like, yes, exactly. And the consideration and the knowledge that you put into the formulations on this is going to be helpful for this, or this will be helpful for that. I really do love that.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much. And these products go great with your THC regimen, right? So you can use it in addition, or maybe there's some doses that you take out and you use this instead. But they work beautifully with a gummy or with a smoke sesh. It just adds to it.
Right. And Elizabeth, something just came to me as you and Kristen were talking. This reminds me of the way when I was a kid that doctors used to be. Like, you literally could sit down in the office with the doctor and he would talk to you. It was like I just felt comfortable when I visited you, just like I did visiting my doctor when I was a kid, because it was a different vibe back then. My doctor was kind of he actually had in his display case the old cannabis, cocaine, heroin bottles from when they were patent medicines.
Super.
So
That's
I think
wild.
he even knew back then. But it reminds me of that. And I think we need to go back to that. Do you know what I mean? Where you're actually sitting down talking to your physician, your healthcare provider for more than 5 minutes in a clinical setting in a freaking waiting room with 20 other people. I mean, this is what healthcare has come down to now.
Yeah, you
And
know,
you're bringing
it's
it back
changed.
to actual wellness care.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I feel bad for doctors too because they're getting pinched also, right? Like
Yes.
they have to see so many patients a day to make ends meet. I think for most of them, it's really not how they want to practice
No, a lot of them
either.
you see are retiring.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that what we've forgotten in the last couple of decades, or maybe more than that,
Hundreds of
is
years.
that we are connected to the earth and we come from the earth and we have natural healing abilities.
Abilities within us,
You know,
right?
you can unlock that healing power. Again, it's not lucrative for capitalism if we can all heal ourselves and sit under a tree and sing songs and be happy and not go to the mall and buy 50 things every weekend. But I think that's a part of what we're standing up
If
against.
somebody put this to me really well, if you get a cut, your body heals it. If you break a bone, your body heals it. Why not everything? Your body has that same power to heal the cut, to heal the broken bone, as it does to heal your internal organs
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It's just a question of finding the right way to unlock it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then staying committed to it.
Yeah. So we're almost out of time. So why don't you tell us how we can get these great products, first of all, or how people can book an appointment with you, or if you have any public speaking engagements coming up, if you're appearing anywhere, give us the scoop, Uzma.
Yes, please follow me on Instagram. It's Bloom, BLOOM HIGHER. And you can shop off my website, bloom-hire.com. And you can use a discount code Bloom10, BLOOM10 for 10% off. And
Nice.
from the website, you can book a 15-minute free phone call with me. I like to start with a quick chat, make sure there's no contraindications to care, and then book the session. I see patients all over the country, so it can be on Zoom or it can be in person at my office in Stamford. And I also see patients one Friday a month at the Sportsplex in Fairfield at Barefoot Living Arts. And
Oh,
I also run a sacred circle once a month there. So every Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Sportsplex at Barefoot Living Arts, we hold sacred circles. So we have 4 practitioners. So I go once a month. I do offer consumption. It's really special, different modalities, different methods. And we're kind of plugging it as like an alternative to happy hour. Everyone always says they want kind of something else to do to get together with their friends. So come in, have this beautiful experience. We have poetry reading, storytelling, different types of practices. And that's every Wednesday at 6 p.m.
every Wednesday at 6 p.m., the Fairfield Arts Center, and you are also there
Fairfield Living
on
Arts.
Fairfield
Mhm.
Living Arts Center, and you are also there on Fridays doing sessions.
Yeah, one Friday a month. So you can book that through
Okay.
me or through them. And it's Barefoot Living Arts with Dr. Mark Romano. And then, yeah, check out my website, bloom-hire.com. And I think these will be in some stores and dispensaries in the next couple of months also.
And you hear that? Any store dispensary wants to carry these great products that are multi-cannabinoid, very specially formulated by Uzna with flower essences and special other essences in there. You can contact her, Bloom Hire, right?
Yeah.
Bloomhire.com. Okay, Uzma,
Bloom-hire.com. Thanks, guys. This
Bloom-Hire.
was so
Thank you
fun.
so
Always good
much for
talking to
coming
you.
on. We appreciate you. We love you. And I'm going to book a session with you right after the show.
Yeah, you're due to come in. All
I am
right.
due.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Lou, any last words?
Just want everybody, I want to thank Uzma. Thank you so much for joining us today. You have some great products and you really do some great things for the community. Shout out to you, Joe, and everybody else making waves in the space. And for all of our guests, we just want you to stay happy, healthy, and high.
All right, Doreen, you can hit the music now. We're ready. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Follow us at Greenhaven Media. Check out the YouTube page. Join the Haven community, and you can follow me at Joe the Weed Guy. See you next week, everybody. Thank you.